all the Jedis before that have come before, the family name didn't really matter. But when they've ended up making, sort of, obviously Kylo Ren related to Leia's sort of the son, and making what's her name, Rhea, the granddaughter of Palpatine, there could have been an interesting sort of message or like discussion about like kind of like family or something. Like you could have like intertwined sort of like the theme of family and sort of maybe like some of the dysfunction or like not being like previous generation. It could have been something. There was like an idea there that could have been expounded on, but at the end of the day, it was again wasted potential. It was nothing.
So when The Force Awakens came out and the big speculation started about who Rey's parents were, I thought they were Imperial officers, because mostly because of her accent, right? The posh English accent has always been like an indicator that somebody is part of the Imperial establishment, right? They since the very first movie they've cast English actors as the Imperials, right? And so I thought the fact that they cast an English actress as a protagonist with a mysterious past was a clue that her heritage was somehow linked to the Empire, and I thought they were Imperial officers. And that she would find this out, and then she would have to make a choice between, do I do the right thing, or do I get what I want, which is have an identity and belong somewhere?
And the
right?
fact
that would have been a very cool story.
Yeah, the fact that you say that could have actually tied into Finn's story, because if they were Imperial officers that turned their back on the Empire and sort of wanted to protect their granddaughter, and then you got Finn that's a sort of a deserter of sort of the Empire as well, you have something in common there which they can kind of like then build on and expand on as well. I feel like, again, there was something potentially there that could have been explored more deeply.
There's this whole theme of identity, right? Because Rey wants to belong somewhere and she doesn't know who she is. Finn was ripped from his family at a very young age and turned into a henchman. And now that he has deserted, he has no ties to anybody and needs to figure stuff out. Kylo has this heritage of both good and bad guys in his lineage, right? And he's being pulled into both directions at a time, and he becomes the pawn of Snoke and Palpatine, we later find out, right? So there is stuff going on here.
Yeah.
And I think if it hadn't been for The Last Jedi, then we could have had a movie, like a trilogy that follows these characters as they discover themselves and find their place in the galaxy, right? Like this thing is not doomed from the start. It could very well have been something. And the fact that it isn't, I think, is, like you say, complete wasted potential.
Again, there's a lot of good things in all of these movies. Like you said, like the visuals, some of the fight scenes and stuff like that. It's just like the story that connects all three movies is just not strong enough.